I know you don't. I know you don't. I know. You don't. I know.
Think I ain't spoke to my son. Think I ain't told my son, his mama, and his grandmamas. He's going to prison.
For years, Ty and Tiny sold the image of a power couple. They had the music, the money, the TV show, and a family brand that looked picture perfect on the family hustle. But behind the scenes, that image was cracking. And when their son, King Harris, went off the rails, reckless driving, fighting in public, flashing guns, even catching felony charges, the weight of it all came crashing down. Now Tiny has filed for divorce, and the Harris family is officially split in half. The breaking point started in October 2024, when King nearly crashed into a cop car. Police pulled him over and found weed, a gun, and an outstanding warrant from 2022. Just like that, he was cuffed. The arrest was caught on camera, and the footage went viral. Instead of looking scared, King appeared calm, almost smug, as if he thought he was untouchable. Fans roasted him online, saying he'd been begging for street cred his whole life, and now he finally got it, the hard way. But this wasn't King's first run-in with chaos. Everyone remembers the Waffle House fight in 2022. King got into it with employees and customers, yelling that he was outside and not soft just because he was raised rich. The video turned him into a meme overnight. Instead of being humbled, he leaned into it, flashing pistols on Instagram, smoking heavy on live, and constantly trying to prove he wasn't the spoiled reality TV kid fans knew from VH1. It was a performance he couldn't stop playing, and his father's warnings fell on deaf ears. Ty tried to save him. Back in 2022, Tip sat King down with Boosie and his son Tootie Ross for a heart-to-heart. Both fathers told their boys the truth. Guns, drugs, and ego would lead straight to prison or worse. King smirked through it, brushing them off. And just 2 years later, T.I.'s prophecy came true. Watching his son in cuffs hit Tip harder than any rap beef or legal case he'd faced in his own career. But while T.I. wrestled with the embarrassment, Tiny reached her breaking point. According to her, Tip's constant absence during King's childhood, his cheating scandals, and his explosive temper played a huge role in shaping King's behavior. Tiny felt like she was left to raise the kids alone, while T.I. was out chasing music, movies, or other women. And when King started spiraling, instead of uniting, the couple only fought more. The world saw a united front, but inside their household, it was a war zone. By the time King's arrest hit the blogs, Tiny was done. Seeing her son cuffed, with the internet clowning him and T.I. trying to distance himself from the situation, was the final straw. She filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. But insiders say her real reasons were years of built-up resentment, King's reckless downfall, and T.I.'s refusal to take accountability as both a father and a husband. What once looked like a power couple became another broken hip-hop dynasty, with their son's crash out marking the official collapse.
To make him look better, he said it he know not true. Silver spoon, I ain't never ate with that day a day in my life.
Nigga, you did have a silver spoon.
Look, Tip used to have to come to my grandma's house because I'm getting in the fight.
You cried like a baby to go to your grandmama's house.
Every day.
You used to hold your breath.
Every day.
I know you. You capping. I know you. I know you. I know you.
Shut up. Shut up.
I know you.
Ain't no mystery about here.
I know you though. I know you though.
Shut up.
I know you though. I know you. What's wrong with y'all? Why y'all doing that to me? Y'all know me. You know I stand on business.
When Tiny filed for divorce, the paperwork listed irreconcilable differences. But insiders close to the family say it was deeper than that. It was years of betrayal, resentment, and dysfunction finally bubbling over. Tiny had stood by T.I. through cheating scandals, lawsuits, and his own prison bids. But when it came to raising King, she felt like she'd been left holding the bag. Every time Tip was caught up in music, business, or another scandal, she was the one trying to keep the household together. By 2024, she'd had enough. One of the biggest breaking points came during that viral Falcons game fight between T.I. and King. Cameras caught father and son in the stands, screaming in each other's faces. Fans couldn't believe it. The family hustle brand reduced to a public shouting match, with King yelling that he wasn't raised soft and T.I. clapping back, trying to set him straight in front of the world. The clip went everywhere, and instead of sympathy, the Harris family became a punchline. Memes of King's face-off with his dad spread across Twitter and TikTok, with fans mocking both of them. That moment, according to Tiny, summed up everything wrong in their household. King's rebellion wasn't just teenage growing pains. It was the result of years of T.I. trying to be the tough guy in public while failing to show consistency at home. The fight looked like discipline, but to Tiny it was evidence that Tip had lost control as a father. And when King was finally arrested in October 2024, instead of rallying behind his son, T.I. allegedly tried to distance himself. He gave subtle comments online, saying King had to learn the hard way, which made it seem like he was washing his hands of the situation. Tiny hated that. She felt like T.I. was disowning his own child just to save face with the public. That, she told friends, was the final straw. The internet, of course, had a field day. Fans dug up clips from the family hustle, pointing out how perfect T.I. and Tiny once pretended their family was, only to fall apart years later. Comment sections filled with, "Tip couldn't control his own house," and "Tiny finally got tired of being embarrassed." Some fans sympathized with her, saying she deserved peace after decades of putting up with Tip's chaos. Others clowned both parents, claiming they created King's mess together and were now trying to blame each other. The divorce filing shifted the conversation. It wasn't just about King anymore. It was about T.I. and Tiny's entire marriage being exposed. Every old rumor, from Tip's infidelity to whispers about fights in their household, came back to the surface. And while King was the headline, the real story was the collapse of a family empire that once sold itself as a reality TV fairy tale. The fallout was clear. T.I.'s image as a family man was shattered. Tiny looked like the long-suffering wife finally breaking free, and King became the tragic symbol of a dynasty falling apart in front of the world.
Hitting me and giving me my comments, telling me what to tell King, okay? I know my son. Think I ain't spoke to my son? Think I ain't told my son, his mama, and his grandmamas, his going to prison. If you got to keep this up, his going to prison. Ain't no way around it. Ain't nothing I'm gonna be able to do about it. Can't nobody stop it but him. You know what I mean? I've already had that conversation. I've already made my peace with it. Because I know that energy. I was that energy. I know exactly how it's gonna turn out.
Just when it seemed like things couldn't get more chaotic for the Harris family, King's baby mama drama added a new layer of mess. Around the same time he was touting cases and clashing with his parents, King stepped into fatherhood with his girlfriend, better known online as Big Nana. The couple welcomed their baby in late 2024, but instead of the moment bringing peace, it stirred up even more drama. From the jump, King and Big Nana's relationship was rocky. They aired out arguments on Instagram Live, throwing insults back and forth for thousands of viewers to watch. Big Nana accused King of being immature and not ready to handle the responsibilities of being a dad. At one point, rumors spread that the baby might not even be his, fueling gossip blogs and giving the internet another excuse to clown him. For someone already fighting to prove his identity, the paternity questions only made things worse. Big Nana wasn't afraid to speak her mind either. She hinted that T.I. and Tiny weren't as supportive as fans might think, painting the picture of a family fractured not just by King's mistakes, but by a lack of unity at the top. Every time she went live or posted a subliminal message, the blogs picked it up, making King's personal life just as messy as his public one. For T.I. and Tiny, this was another humiliation. Their son, already a walking headline for reckless behavior, was now being dragged by his girlfriend in front of millions. Instead of celebrating the birth of their grandchild, they were dealing with another PR disaster. Tiny tried to stand by King, posting supportive messages, while T.I. reportedly grew more frustrated, feeling like King was dragging the family name deeper into the mud. What made it worse is that King himself didn't seem ready to slow down. Even after becoming a father, he was still hopping on Instagram Live, flashing money, talking tough, and feeding the same image that put him in trouble. To fans, it looked like he was repeating his father's mistakes. chasing ego and chaos instead of stability. T.I. once built his brand on hustling for his family, but King seemed stuck on hustling for attention. The internet noticed the irony. Memes compared King to a discount version of T.I., saying he wanted the respect without putting in the work. Others pointed out how Tiny, who spent years defending her family, now had to watch her son repeat the same cycles she fought to escape. And in the middle of it all was a newborn child, innocent but already caught in the whirlwind of Harris family drama. For Tiny, this was proof that the marriage couldn't be saved. She saw her son spiraling, her husband growing distant, and her grandchild entering chaos instead of stability. Filing for divorce wasn't just about her marriage anymore. It was about breaking the cycle. She didn't want her granddaughter to grow up in the same dysfunction that shaped King. The baby was supposed to be a blessing. Instead, it became another reminder that the Harris family's empire was built on shaky ground, and now the cracks were wide open for the world to see.
I said a while ago when T.I.'s son King was getting a lot of flack and a lot of heat in the media, that to me he just looked like a young kid that wanted to prove to his father that he was a man too.
By the time the dust settled, the Harris family looked nothing like the polished image they once sold on VH1. What was once marketed as the family hustle had crumbled into public dysfunction. Tiny filing for divorce was the final nail, but the cracks had been showing for years. Between T.I.'s cheating scandals, King's reckless spiral, and the couple's constant clashes, the so-called family empire had been hanging by a thread. The world didn't just watch, it laughed. Every fight, every arrest, every meltdown turned into memes. The same internet that once praised T.I. as a reformed hustler now clowned him as a father who lost control of his own house. Even King's arrest footage became a punchline, with fans editing it into parody clips and roasting him as the rapper kid who begged for street cred until the streets answered. It was brutal, and it crushed the Harris brand. For T.I., this might be the biggest blow of his career. He's fought rap beefs, label wars, and federal cases, but this hit different. His legacy wasn't just about bars and business anymore. It was about fatherhood. And when your son ends up cuffed, your wife walks away, and the internet calls you a hypocrite, it shakes everything you built. To many, the King of the South looked more like a man who lost his crown inside his own household. For Tiny, the divorce was a way out. She had weathered every scandal with T.I., from public cheating to rumors of wild behavior. But watching her son spiral was the last straw. Filing for divorce wasn't just about ending a marriage. It was about saving herself. In her eyes, she'd carried the family long enough, and now she wanted peace. Fans rallied behind her, calling her strong for finally breaking free, even as critics pointed out that she'd stayed silent for years while the dysfunction grew. And then there's King Harris. For him, the spotlight is both a curse and a trap. He wanted to prove he was more than the pampered kid from reality TV. But in trying to escape that image, he crashed into something worse. Instead of carving out his own legacy, he became a meme, a cautionary tale, and the very thing that destroyed his parents' marriage. Now, as a young father with legal troubles hanging over him, he's at a crossroads. Prison could break him, or it could finally humble him. But either way, his name is stamped as the symbol of the Harris family's collapse. In the end, this isn't just gossip about a famous family. It's a story about how ego, dysfunction, and denial can tear down even the strongest-looking empires. T.I. once bragged about having it all: the music, the money, the respect, and the family. Now, he's got a divorce, a reckless son, and a legacy overshadowed by scandal. The Harris dynasty didn't fall because of outsiders or enemies. It fell from within, and the world watched every second.